Thanks, and hello again to those who stayed with us on CBS News New York streaming. We're still following that breaking news in the Harvey Weinstein sex crimes case. Just a short time ago, Weinstein was found partially guilty, partially not guilty on those charges. He was found guilty in the sex assault case of Mimi Haley, third-degree rape, no verdict, and not guilty in the sexual criminal act of Kaja Sokala. Let's go to Lisa Rozner, if we can, live outside the courthouse once again. And Lisa, things got extremely dramatic, I guess we can say. Do we have Lisa out there?
Yes. Hi, Jessica. Things got dramatic, and this is not the first time drama has occurred among the jury. Earlier this week, some jurors asked to speak to the judge privately, saying that there was some high school kind of antics, bullying going on amongst jurors, and we heard some of that again today. The jury foreperson actually asked to speak with the judge privately, saying that one of the jurors told him, one day I will meet you outside. Now, what that means, that was a lot of debate between Harvey Weinstein's attorney, Arthur Aidala, and the judge. Weinstein's attorney calling for a mistrial because of all of this drama. There's also been allegations that earlier in the week that the jury, some of the jurors had brought in past evidence, not part of this trial, as part of their discussions for deliberations. Now, the judge has declined, he has denied all of these motions for a mistrial, but of course, this defense team keeps trying, and we even heard Harvey Weinstein talk to the judge himself today, saying in part, this is my life that's on the line. I am not getting a fair trial, and you are endangering me, Your Honor. So, as you said, we do not have a verdict on the rape count. That was an allegation that is Jessica Mann from 2013. She alleged that Harvey Weinstein raped her here in New York at a hotel room. The jury has not come to a verdict on that count, but they have asked for a lot of readbacks regarding that case. They asked to see her testimony from the trial today. Then they also asked to see her medical records. So the judge for now says, let's cool things off. He's sending the jury home as we speak, and they will be back tomorrow to deliberate on that last count of rape.
Lisa, thank you so much. Now that the verdict has been read, we're going to look toward what's next, his sentencing and beyond. The verdict, although it's been partially read, it's not quite over. Joining us now is trial attorney and litigator Rich Schoenstein. Rich, thank you so much for the time. I know that you have so much experience in this field, much more than any of us do. Is this rare? It seems crazy to me that they're delivering a partial verdict. They don't want to keep deliberating on the third charge. They have to walk us through what happened.
Yeah, this is really rare. I will say that. So you have here, I think we're on the fourth day of deliberations, or I may have missed a day, but we're well into deliberations. And the jury essentially said, we have agreed on 2 of the 3 counts. On one of the counts, we find him guilty. On one of the counts, we find him not guilty. And on the third count, we haven't been able to reach a decision. And remember, each count basically is a different victim. Mm-hmm. So it's not a situation where they're finding him guilty of a lesser included charge or one charge and not a higher charge. This is just a different decision with respect to each of 3 women. One they decide guilty, one they decide not guilty, and one they haven't reached a verdict yet, and they have to come back again tomorrow to see if they can do that.
Well, and the reason they're coming back tomorrow is because the judge told the court everyone needs to cool off. And that is, of course, because of this drama with the jurors. Twice now, a juror, even the foreperson, has gone to the judge saying, I'm being bullied. I don't want to change my mind. I can't go back in the jury room, things like that, to which obviously Weinstein's defense is extremely offended. Arthur Aidala said he was disgusted that this was not just being thrown out entirely. The judge called it schoolyard antics. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, Arthur Aidala is a great defense lawyer. And on the one hand, if you ask him what time of day it is, he responds, mistrial. He's constantly asking for a mistrial. Yeah. But he's right to be concerned about this. I mean, these are very serious allegations from inside that jury room, you know, of misconduct, of jurors exerting unfair pressure on really kind of abrasive discussions in the jury room. And he's right to be concerned about that. He's right to press the judge on the issue. And you better believe he's going to have an appeal from any guilty conviction that's rendered. I don't know if the appeal will be successful, but he certainly has a basis to pursue an appeal for any conviction here.
I wanted to ask you also, for our viewers watching, can you explain what an Allen charge is? The judge said that he may charge the jury or instruct the jury with an Allen charge. What does that mean?
An Allen charge, we also sometimes call it a dynamite charge. It basically is the final emphatic charge you give to the jury about their duty to render as best they can a unanimous decision, the importance of rendering unanimous decision. And generally, when you get down the road in long deliberations and you have a jury telling you they can't come to a verdict, a judge will give that instruction, give them one more chance, and if they still can't reach a verdict, if they still don't have unanimity, then you have a hung jury, then you have a mistrial.
Okay, thank you. That makes it much more easy to understand. What kind of sentence could Weinstein realistically face? Let's say theoretically he's found guilty on just the one charge of the Criminal Sex Act. What are we looking at as far as adding to his prison sentence?
So I don't know exactly. I didn't break it down. I think the combined sentence they were talking about was in the neighborhood of 23 years. I think criminal sexual conduct here, which would be the charge, carries a pretty significant jail penalty, but I don't know exactly how long.
Okay.
I do know, though, he's already in jail for the California conviction, which he's appealing.
Right.
Given his age and health, it's a very serious concern for him.
And I want to ask your opinion on this. Does the case set any new precedent in how courts handle testimony from prior bad acts witnesses? Talk to me about what you think about that.
Well, the precedent was set by the appellate court the last time around, because in the first trial, they allowed testimony by other alleged victims, which was sort of used to pile on to paint a picture of Harvey Weinstein as a repeat predator. And the appellate court found that that was improper, that those women were not victims alleged in the case, and those prior bad acts were too attenuated. There is so much case law in New York and many other states about prior bad acts. It's very fact specific. So I don't think we created any new law, but it was a very significant development, of course, in this case.
Yeah, of course. And what about timing? The 2020 case did not take this long, and it came back with a pretty definitive verdict. Is it harder to prove a case the longer time goes on between the first time you try it and now this retrial?
Yeah, legal proceedings are much more like fish than they are like wine.
Okay.
They get a lot worse with age. Any distance you put from the alleged act creates a proof problem, creates a reliability problem. Witnesses become unavailable or their memories fade. The evidence is stale. It's not the same kind of evidence 10 years ago as you would have if something was happening right now. So it's much more difficult to prosecute an old case. It just is.
Rich Schoenstein, thank you so much for helping us understand the legalities of what happened today, making it so easy for our viewers to understand. We really appreciate your time.
Happy to do it. See you soon.
Thank you. So again, that breaking news, a partial verdict has been reached in the retrial of Harvey Weinstein. The one count that the jury still has not been able to agree on is third-degree rape. They have been dismissed for the day. They will return tomorrow to resume deliberations, but he was found guilty on one count of Criminal Sex Act, not guilty on the second count of Criminal Sex Act. And that deliberation will continue tomorrow. We will continue to bring you any new developments as they happen. We'll have the latest update tonight on CBS News New York at 5 o'clock. Thanks so much for having us in. I'm Jessica Moore. We'll see you at 5.